What we recently have learned, though, is that, I shouldn't say too recently, but that there's a third reaction called the freeze reaction. Have you heard of that?
In general, like, oh my God, I just froze.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, in general, right? I'm just sorry. I'm just going to get
Yeah.
my notes up so I make sure I don't. So the freeze reaction is if our body senses that a serious threat or injury is about to happen and fight or flight is not available to us, we can neither run away nor can we fight back. The body numbs itself out. The heart rate slows, the breathing slows, and the brain floods itself with opioids to protect us from the pain or the injury. That's the freeze response. So a lot of people, it will also call it dissociation, right? It feels like you're leaving your body. It feels like you're watching a movie. Like it feels like this is like you're watching this happen. Right? This is the freeze response.
You hear of people who have been shot. They said, I didn't even know I was.
Yeah.
Until later.
The shock, right?
Yeah,
the shock of the system. Yeah. So it's really fascinating, and it's amazing, right? How our body and brain will do these things to literally protect us, to help us. The problem again, if we go back to somebody who is experiencing this over and over and over and over again in childhood, then that becomes almost the default setting of the brain, right? That dissociation, that response, the threat response, right? We're very adaptive creatures. We learn very quickly what helps us feel safe. But the thing is that what helps us feel safe in certain situations doesn't necessarily work in other situations, right? And can actually get in the way. Classic example of this is a soldier who's in a combat zone and has to be hyper aware of every single detail, right? That can be the difference between life and death in a war zone. You have to be hyper vigilant. You have to be constantly on guard. What happens when that soldier returns home to peace, right? To Canada or to the United States or whatever it is. There's no more war zone. But yet that same behavior, that same hypervigilance, which helped them, is actually now getting in the way, is actually now hindering their functioning.
How does one... I know I keep going back to this, but I want to be somewhat helpful to those that listen is not similar to, but the actions in the sense of you're talking about that soldier who has been at that heightened state constantly. You have kids that we're in a heightened state of being in a home of constant yelling and it's not just a day. It's what tends to happen is that once we start to realize our parents are fighting and stuff like that, there's alcoholism in the home.
Yeah.
Is even though that fight happens on a Monday, I'm still feeling that because I know it's coming up again tomorrow
Absolutely.
and tomorrow. And when it goes for 20 years,
absolutely.
When I come out of it, it's the behavior is just like it's constantly like this. And so either I want to be alone, so I don't want to, I want quietness. I remember I was a partner of mine many years ago. She slammed the cupboard door. Yeah. And I remember as a child hearing stuff like that. Yeah. And I saw her yell at her father. Like it was like a fight in the home. And I remember I took her aside and said, "Don't ever do that again." Yeah. You can't. And that triggered me big time. Where I'm trying to get with this is